でありながら半分人間の血を持って生まれ、どちらにもなれぬ半端者。月の光が差す典型の夜に現れるこのもう一つの姿を暗闇で隠しながらじっと夜明けを待つだけの小胆者。いくら虚勢を張ったところで小娘一人欺くことすらできぬ。
Hello and welcome back to another video on the VikingGnomeAnime channel. Today we are going to be reviewing the surprisingly good first episode of The Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Now, long story short, this is Beauty and the Beast, the anime. Well, with some quirks, but that is the basic story, as it seems to develop anyway. Now, I have a lot of thoughts on this first episode. When I added this to my list, I was not really intrigued by the synopsis, and it did not really seem to be much of an interesting show at all. But this first episode really surprised me. This was way better than I actually first thought. The writing, the character building, the interactions, and just like the build-up of the first episode was pretty well made. Like, way better made than I actually expected. So this show can be a surprisingly heavy hitter this season if it continues on this path. Now, to give a very quick summary of the first episode. So we are in this world. There is a beast nation and a human nation. Apparently, the human nation, as part of a truce that they negotiated 100 years back, they have to give the beast nation human sacrifices every so often to the beast king to sort of keep the peace. And this is how we get introduced to Sari, which is the human girl protagonist character, who is chosen to be the current sacrifice. She is sent over the border to meet the beast king, and we then meet the beast king and Sari as they start to interact and such. The beast king spares her for the time being, even though he was planning on killing her at that exact time. And then, of course, over the course of the episode, the relationship develops between them, and at the end of the episode, when she figures out his secret, per se, that he turns into a human on this specific night, he basically takes her as his wife. Yeah. So that is, that's like the very basic of it. But there was a lot of good moments in this first episode. Like, a lot of good moments, I have to say. As I said earlier, the amount of character in this show so far is way better than I expected. I expected some like slapdash, simple writing, some like furry shit, or something just very basic and not that good. But so far, the characters, specifically Sari and the Beast King, and the interaction and interplay between these two characters is looking pretty good. Like, it seems like they are actually, they have some like proper idea of how they want to make this relationship and how they want to build it and how they want to build the characters and the storyline moving forward. So far it has been quite good. As far as I understand it, the manga for this is already finished, so they do have a finished story to work with, which might be to their benefit in terms of adapting the material. Now, I did quite like a lot of underlying thoughts and meanings in this first episode. Specifically, the underlying tone that you get continually, that the Beast King grows close to Sari quite quickly, because it seems that she can understand him somewhat in a way that no one else can, especially when she figures out his secret on the ritual night. It seems that he really takes a liking and develops a love for her, because she is the only person, or the only being around him that is able to actually understand him at a level no one else can. And that can be a very good just parallel to show that no matter the being, every human or every living thing, to an extent, crave understanding and crave to find someone that can understand them for who they are and what they are, and accept them as such. That was a very nice sort of overall theme throughout this first episode. One negative, though, on the episode, I will say, was the potentially quickly developed relationship Like, even though it was fairly well made and done in this first episode, I have to say that, yeah, like, I could have definitely seen this initial relationship twist with the marriage and such being covered over at least 2 or 3 episodes, taking it way more slowly. Because developing a relationship of this kind, sure, it may happen quickly, but at the same time, it does feel like it could take some actual time as well to develop. Not just like a week or something, as is in this first episode. Of course, I understand that they can't dedicate like many episodes to this one specific development, as, you know, they don't have unlimited runtime here. They have 12 episodes, I think, this season, so they can't just spend way too long on a small development. But ideally, I think they could have at least spent 2 episodes on building out this initial development in the plot and character interplay. But of course, I understand it. Again, it's not really a big negative. It's just like a very small thing. But they still did very well with the pacing that they are currently doing. So overall, I'm quite happy with this anime. There are a lot of good points. The slight hit of humor and sort of like some warm-hearted commentary and interplay and everything else really seems to go quite well together. They are pacing and changing between the different scenery and moods fairly well. And I think the anime has a lot of potential as we move forward in this season. I think this might definitely be like one of my top 5 anime this season, maybe even higher if they do really well. But the bread and butter will definitely be this Beauty and the Beast interplay between Sari and the Beast King, now named Leonhard, apparently. It will all depend, it will all bend or break on this relationship between these 2 characters. I doubt much else will really matter outside of these 2. So, as long as they make these 2 characters and their interactions between each other and the world really good, not much else will probably matter too much in terms of the quality. Of course, that's not to say that they should just not care about anything else, but this is going to be the main focus, and it looks like that is what the writers also seem to agree with. That, though, will be the end of this first episode review. I hope you enjoyed this first episode as much as me. Definitely a potential hidden gem, I have to say. If you have any thoughts on the episode, feel free to comment, or any thoughts on the video, my thoughts as well, any criticisms, or if you agree with me, whatever else, feel free to comment below. Also, feel free to subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and all these other good things to support my new channel. I highly appreciate it. With that, though, I will see you all in the next video. Keep watching anime, people.